We've all heard of the 10,000 hour rule. Mastery comes from deliberate practice, roughly 10,000 hours of doing something with intention, repetition, and feedback. It's how people become world-class at piano, painting, golf, or science. But what if I told you the 10,000 hour rule doesn't stop when your career ends? What if retirement itself, this big, open, undefined chapter of your life, is actually a skill? And what if it takes 10,000 hours to master retirement? Because the truth is, most people treat retirement like it's an on or off switch. One day you're working 50 hours a week, doing it for 40 years, and the next you're not. But that mindset assumes something really dangerous, that you're already really good at being retired, when in reality, you've never done it before. None of us have. Welcome to the UnRetired, where you're not done, but you're finally doing what you want. If this idea sparks something in you, if you want to approach retirement with intention and not just default into it, hit the like and subscribe button and stick with us. We're building a whole new mindset around what it means to live a second half of life. Okay, let's get into this. What does the 10,000 hour rule really mean? Well, let's rewind for a second. The 10,000 hour rule was popularized by the Malcolm Gladwell book, Outliers, which was based on the research of psychologist Anders Ericsson. And the basic idea was that mastery takes time, not just any time, but focused, deliberate practice with feedback and the desire to improve. It's why musicians rehearse scales endlessly. It's why athletes drill the fundamentals until they're second nature. And it's why great leaders sharpen their judgment and communication over decades. No one becomes excellent by accident. So why would we expect retirement to be any different? Retirement is still a skill that you can develop, and frankly, you have to develop. Retirement isn't just a status, it's a lifestyle. And like any major life transition, it comes with a learning curve. It takes time to actually master it. Well, let's think about some of the skills you need to master in retirement. You've got to restructure your day. You've got to rebuild your identity now that you no longer have a job title. You have to find purpose outside of productivity. And you've got to navigate shifting relationships. You have to build emotional resilience without any of the systems of accountability that you had when you were working. If you spent 40 years getting great at your job or your career, it's totally unrealistic, and actually it's unfair to yourself to expect you to instantly be great at retirement the day your paycheck stops. Okay, so what counts toward your 10,000 hours? Well, here's the good news. You're probably not starting from zero. Every hour you spend exploring a passion, finding a rhythm to your day, building a new relationship, taking a longer vacation, those are practice. So what actually counts towards your 10,000 hours? Let me give you a few examples. It could be time spent experimenting with creative hobbies. It could be learning how to structure your time with meaning, not just with activity. It could be building a new network of friends, mentors, or mentees even. Developing new skills like photography, travel planning, caregiving, or writing. Even intentional rest, when it's done to recharge and not to numb, it counts as progress towards your 10,000 hours. The key word here is intention. Retirement isn't just about what you do, it's about how you do it. So let me pause there, and I want to ask you, what's one thing that you do in retirement or you plan to do that feels like building towards mastery? Is it painting? Is it mentoring? Is it traveling with purpose? Learning a new skill? Leave a comment below and let me know. I read everything, and your ideas might inspire somebody else in our community. Well, how can we get practice reps, let's call them mini retirements, that get us further along? One of the best ways to prepare for retirement is try it in small doses before you fully commit. We often call these mini retirements. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you know I'm a big believer in the concept of retire early and retire often. Mini retirements might look something like this. Could be taking a sabbatical from work. Could actually just be taking a little bit of a break between job transitions. Could be starting a side gig in an area that you care about. Could be volunteering regularly with a cause that matters to you. How about traveling slowly without the rush of a packed itinerary? Maybe it's pursuing a new craft like woodworking, gardening, or photography. Everything I just mentioned, these are all like taking practice reps. They're time on task, building the emotional and logistical muscles you'll use when you get to full-time retirement. There's a quote I love. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes progress. And progress is what we're after as we build our 10,000 hours towards retirement. Because retirement isn't a static thing, the first year you're retired isn't going to look like the 10th year you're retired. You're going to get better at it. But every hour you spend with purpose makes you better at living the next chapter. Okay, so let's say you're about to retire, or let's say you're even retired. You don't need 10,000 hours to start. Let's be honest, getting great at retirement might take you 10,000 hours, just like anything else worth mastering. But here's the trick. You don't have to wait until you retire to start putting in the reps. Every time you take a break, explore a new interest, travel with intention, experiment with a new routine, you're logging some hours. You're chipping away at that 10,000 hour journey before your retirement even begins. And the more hours you rack up before you retire, the easier and more joyful the transition becomes. You'll enter retirement already knowing what lights you up and how to structure your time. So you don't need to be at 10,000 hours to start. Maybe you're only at 1,000 hours. Maybe you've just started asking yourself, what do I want this next chapter to feel like? If you think about it, like in terms of work hours, 10,000 hours is really like 5 years of work. The average person works about 2,000 hours a year. So that'd be 5 years. What I found anecdotally when I talk to retirees is, the first year can be a little rough, and then they kind of start hitting their stride. By the time they're in year 3 or 4, they're usually doing pretty well. So that's the good news, is that you're probably not starting from scratch. You probably have 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours, maybe already built up. So that's not a delay, it's a launch pad. People who thrive in retirement aren't the ones who wait until day one to figure it all out. In fact, if anything, I've seen the people who work right up until the day they're retired. Those are generally the people who have the hardest times transitioning, and they usually end up pretty depressed in year one. Who succeeds? They're the ones that experiment early, evolve often, and bring the same curiosity and commitment to this season of their life that they brought to their careers. Mastery isn't a moment, it's a process. And the sooner you begin, the better it gets. So if the idea of 10,000 hours to master retirement is resonating with you, if you want to build your second act with the same energy, drive, and joy that fueled your first act, hit the like and subscribe button. We're here every week helping you to live the unretired life with intention and clarity. So here's the shift I hope you'll make. Stop thinking of retirement as an arrival. Start seeing it as a craft that you can get better at. If you treat retirement like something to master, not something just to coast through, you'll unlock a whole new dimension of freedom, meaning, and fulfillment. The 10,000 hour rule, it still applies. Not to make you perfect, but to make you excellent at living the life you finally earned. Welcome to the UnRetired, where the 10,000 hour rule still applies, but this time you're mastering life itself.